one thing that confused me when I first played Secret of the Mimic was why wasn't this in the game? In the Help Wanted 2 update, once we finish the puzzle, we can see this building, and above this building we can see the MCM logo, signifying that this is a MCM building. Also on the puzzle we can see the same building. Now along this we can find the van that drives the MXCS away. We will talk about this in a bigger video soon. But let's focus on the building. Why wasn't this in Secret of the Mimic? Well, it is in Edwin's private office. We can find a smaller version of it. But most people believed, me included, that this would be the entrance into the MCM. But instead we got this. So where was this? The only way to see the MCM building in Help Wanted 2 is to put on the Vanny mask. But one thing I have not seen many people talk about when discussing this specific area is that the Vanny mask restores the past. Is this its main purpose? No, but it's something it does. For example, we wear the Vanny mask throughout Help Wanted 2, and the pizzeria is in perfect condition, but once we take it off, the pizzeria is back to how we see it in Security Breach. And another example is when we encounter Roxy in Ruin. Roxy is somewhat restored to how she looked in the past, before she got shattered. And this is what we can say about the MCM building in Help Wanted 2. We are looking into the past. Yes, I'm saying this is what MCM used to look like, but why the change? We get the answer in this audio log.
If you could change anything you wanted, what would it be?
Maybe rebrand? We could start making some of my inventions for real.
Maybe rebrand. This is why it's changed when we arrive in Secret of the Mimic. By this time, Edwin has rebranded from how we see it in Help Wanted 2 to now how we see it in Secret of the Mimic. But how do we know he rebranded? Well, they start selling Edwin's inventions. Like how he said, if the original MCM sold stuff like the cleaner vac, Edwin wouldn't need to say maybe we could start making some of my inventions for real. Now, one question still puzzled me. Why would Edwin have a smaller version of this building in his office? After thinking for a bit, I believe to have solved it. Edwin kept a smaller version of it so we could look back to it after he rebranded. Is there any proof to this? Well, no. But this is what makes most sense to me. Well, why don't we see the rebranded MCM when we take off the Vanny mask? Because that would be spoiling the story. That I doubt they would just want to let out in an update for Help Wanted 2. But before we move on to the conclusion, please like and subscribe since we are so close to 100 subscribers. But now, let's move on to the conclusion. In the early 50s, 60s, around that time, Edwin Sr. makes MCM, having the main entrance look like this. But a few years later, he unfortunately dies, leaving the company to Edwin, and Edwin decides to rebrand. He begins to sell his own inventions like the cleaner vac, but he also decided to rebrand the entrance. But years later, the player in Help Wanted 2 finally finds this area, sees what MCM used to be. Thanks for watching. Now I know this video isn't the longest, and I apologize. I just wanted to talk about this idea because I find it cool and it's not like a massive theory. The next couple videos will be longer, but have a great day.